Welcome aboard, fellow enthusiasts, as we embark on another incredible video. Thank you for choosing our video on Lophospermum erubescens. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Lophospermum erubescens, known as Mexican twist or creeping gloxinia, is a climbing or sprawling herbaceous perennial plant native to the Sierra Madre Oriental mountains of Mexico, where it is found along forest margins or canyon walls. It climbs by means of twining leaf stalks. Wild plants have pink and white tubular flowers, although other colors are found in cultivation. It has been cultivated as an ornamental plant since at least 1830. Although not frost-hardy, it will survive if its base and roots are protected from freezing in the winter. It has escaped from cultivation and become naturalized in tropical and subtropical areas of the world. Lophospermum erubescens has been confused with Lophospermum scandens, partly because the earliest illustration of L. erubescens was labeled as L. scandens. Among other differences, L. erubescens has a more climbing habit than L. scandens, with many twining leaf stalks. Also, the sepals are broader and joined at the base for only 2 rather than 7. Despite the common name creeping gloxinia, it is not closely related to either the true gloxinia species from South America or the flowering houseplant commonly known as gloxinia specusa. Welcome to the next segment, where we explore description and its significance in our journey. Lophospermum erubescens is a climbing herbaceous perennial with fibrous roots. It climbs by means of twining leaf stalks, petials rather than tendrils or twining stems. The long stems are branched, becoming woody at the base with age and developing a woody calyx, a swollen, bulb-like structure at the base of the stem. The leaves have petials 30 long and are triangular or heart-shaped, 45 long by 45 wide, with a pointed apex and toothed edges, dentate or crenate. The leaves and stems are sparsely covered with short hairs. Lophospermum erubescens flowers and fruits over a long period, April to the following January, in its native habitat. The flowers are borne singly. The calyx has sepals that are broadly ovate, 19 long and 9 wide at the base, joined only for the first 2. The sepal margins curve outwards along about 1/3 or half their length. The flowers have 5 petals, joined at the base to form a tube 48 long, whitish at the base and pinkish red towards the end. The free lobes at the end of the petals bend outwards. There are 2 prominent folds spiky running along the length of the base of the flower tube, bearing numerous yellow hairs. 1 longitude there are 4 fertile stamens, the upper 2 slightly longer than the lower 2, and 1 rudimentary infertile stamen. The style has a forked stigma. The ovary is covered with glandular hairs and has 2 chambers luteals. After fertilization, a more or less symmetrical globe-shaped capsule forms, filled with brown seeds, each with a circular wing around it. As we progress through this video, let's shift our attention towards taxonomy and uncover its hidden depths. The earliest illustration of Lophospermum erubescens appeared in 1830 in the British Flower Garden. The plant was at first identified as the already known Lophospermum scandens and labeled as such. David Donne later realized that it was a new species, and corrected the error in a subsequent note in the British Flower Garden, describing the illustrated plant as a new species, L. erubescens. Donne did not explain the origin of the specific epithet, but erubescens means reddening or blushing in Latin. Donne's correction was not always noticed, with the result that the name L. scandens became associated with the illustration of L. erubescens, creating confusion between the 2 species. The distinction between the 2 species has not always been accepted. Donne distinguished L. erubescens from L. scandens by features such as the former's more triangular leaves with shorter hairs, and broader, less sharply pointed sepals. Other differences are that L. erubescens has a more climbing habit than L. scandens, with many twining leaf stalks. The bases of the sepals are joined for only 2 rather than 7, and the folds spiky on the base of the inside of the flower tube bear hairs 1 rather than less than 1 mm long. Lophospermum erubescens has previously been placed in other genera now considered distinct but related, for example in Morindia by Samuel Frederick Gray and in Asarina by Francis Whittier Pennell. Let's now venture into the realm of distribution and habitat and explore the fascinating intricacies it holds. Lophospermum erubescens is native to the Sierra Madre Oriental mountains of Mexico, where it is found at elevations between 1,000 and it grows in the margins of seasonally dry oak or oak liquidambar forests, including forest edges created by roads or on canyon walls. Through its widespread cultivation, it has become naturalized in many tropical and subtropical areas of the world, including Central America, Costa Rica and Panama, the Caribbean, Puerto Rico and Jamaica, South America, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru and southern Brazil, Hawaii, the Azores, Madeira, Madagascar and Reunion, Australia, New South Wales and Queensland, New Zealand, North Island, New Caledonia, Java and New Guinea. Now, let's dig deeper into ecology and unveil the hidden treasures it holds within. Lophospermum erubescens is pollinated by hummingbirds. Its flowers show characteristic adaptations to this mode of pollination, having sturdy, long-tubed pink to red flowers with open throats that are more or less radially symmetrical. The nectar produced by the flowers is also typical of those pollinated by hummingbirds, being high in sucrose and low in glucose relative to fructose. Let's transition to cultivation and uncover its significance. Lophospermum erubescens has been in cultivation since it was first formally described in 1830. Joseph Paxton wrote in 1836 that it was a very fine creeper and deserves growing by every lover of plants. Growing to 2 meters or more, it has been described as easy to grow in a frost-free location. In areas subject to frost, it will survive if cut down to near ground level and the base and roots protected from freezing over winter. Propagation is by seed or cuttings. In cultivation, forms with all white flowers are known, including the cultivar bridal bouquet. In horticulture, it is often given names in the genus Morindia, as noted for example in the RHS Horticultural Database. However, Lophospermum and Morindia are now regarded as distinct. Morindia has smooth rather than hairy leaves with entire rather than toothed margins, and smaller flowers with a tube at most about 30 mm long. This plant has won the Royal Horticultural Society's Award of Garden Merit. I appreciate your time and I'm grateful for every like, comment, and share.